Hello students, now let us discuss about social control and self-control. We said that each and every society is going to formulate some set of rules and regulations so that we can control the human behavior. But it is not possible for the state to control the individual behavior all the time. The state or the government cannot be available and cannot control the human behavior. So, for that reason, we require self control. The Indian society used to tell that we need to learn how to control our emotions or senses, my dear friends. And if a person can control his emotions or senses, then that person will try to abide to the rules and he can be a good citizen. So, for us to learn about self control, we require socialization, proper socialization. And in our previous classes, we have discussed about the agencies of socialization like family, educational institutions, mass media and culture, peer groups and the society at large. This process is these institutions are going to internalize the norms and values which are there in that particular society, so that the child is going to imbibe the norms and values therein. He is going to abide to them so that he becomes a respectable citizen of that particular state or country. So, based on this socialization, my dear friends, the individual will try to learn about self control. Through this process, he tries to exercise or he tries to control over his or her behavior. So, society is going to teach the individuals about the norms and values with the help of this socialization process. And social control always is from outside, my dear friends. The pressure is built up by the society, whereas self control comes from within, from the individual itself. Now, let us discuss about socialization as a process of social control. Family and school are going to play a vital role in the life of each and every individual. The family not only is going to teach him the norms and values, but they also teach the culture, the tradition, the norms and values which are there in that particular society. Because the family members are very close to the child, they can shape up the personality of the individuals. The capacity of the family, their social conditions, their economical conditions, all these can also vary from one family to the other family. Therein we can see that there are certain variations in terms of individuals' behavior. Each and every school, their duty is to not only teach or share the information or knowledge, but their duty is to teach the child with with skills like to be punctual, to be regular, to be sincere. Along with this, they also try to develop the character of the individual along with knowledge. And this knowledge is going to shape up the personality and also helps him to find a suitable job when he grows up, my dear friends. And when we talk about peer groups, my dear friends, being with a winner makes you a winner, being with a loser makes you a loser. If you are going to be with a person who has good habits, then we are going to learn the good habits, and if you are going to stay with a bad company, then there are chances that we may also learn some of the bad characteristics, my dear friends. So, we need to select the peer group wisely. And then it is the mass media and literature which is going to influence the individuals. In the previous classes, we have discussed the examples like Tare Zameen Par and the other movies, like how it has been influenced. So, whenever we talk about mass media and literature, the books, all these are going to influence the individuals in terms of developing a perspective of their own, my dear friends. So, these are the agencies which are going to influence the person or socialize the person and therein control the human behavior. Each and every child may sometimes have violent behavior, and or they may also have deviant behavior. And with the help of this socialization, my dear friends, we may help them to conform to the rules and regulations, and wherein we can change the behavior of the individuals. Now, let us discuss about the means of social control. In each and every society, we have certain mechanisms by which we control the human behavior. but without any benefits, we cannot see a positive change. So, social control may be positive or sometimes may be negative. Whenever we talk about positive one, we try to encourage the individuals to have socially approved behavior, so that each and every person behaves the same way. But whenever we talk about negative aspects, we try to condemn about socially disapproved behavior which is there in the society. For example, if the child is going to keep the hands in the dust, and if he is going to keep that in the mouth, we beat him or we stop him from doing it. So, when we talk about positive controls, it may also include sometimes rewards. Sometimes we may praise the people for taking up good or approved behavior. We may give suggestions to the individuals to motivate them, educate them, and so on. Without any reward, sometimes people may be demotivated, my dear friends. So, we motivate the people, we give certain benefits to the individuals so that they may try to conform to the norms and expectations of the group of that particular society. Sometimes people may be afraid of the punishments, and sometimes they may not be willing, but because of the pressure, because of the negative incentives, people may sometimes conform to the norms and values which are there in that particular society. If we see in some societies, we have imprisonment. Sometimes we may put on penalties on the individuals, sometimes we may demotivate the individuals from their positions, and so on. So, we also have negative incentives. If we see in Telangana, recently for traffic violations, if any person is going to violate the traffic rules, we have increased the penalties, like if any person jumps the signals, before that it was hardly 70 to 100 rupees. So, people used to frequently violate the rules, but recently they have increased that penalty from 100 rupees to 1300 rupees, so that people may stop doing it because they may fear of losing 1300 rupees. So, we have both the positive control as well as the negative ways of controlling the human behavior. Now, when we talk about means of social control, it can be formal and it can also be informal. Whenever we talk about formal control, we have the agencies like police, the judicial system, the legal professions, and the penal institutions which are going to control the human behavior. And when we talk about the informal social control, we have the public opinion, fashion, gossip, and so on, which is going to control the human behavior in the informal way. And when we talk about the control in the rural and tribal areas, it is mostly informal way of controlling the human behavior, because tribal societies and rural societies are homogeneous in nature. Each and every society, their lifestyle is same, the conditions are same, and the purpose is also same. Because of the similar lifestyle, similar conditions, it is only the informal way people control their behavior. And when we come to the urban centers, it is not homogeneous, but it is heterogeneous society with different set of people, with different religious background, different caste groups, different ambitions, different aspirations, their social conditions are different, and so on. And in order to govern or in order to control all these people, we require a formal set of rules and regulations to govern the behavior. So, in the urban centers, my dear friends, we have the formal social control which is going to control the behavior of the individuals, whereas in the rural and tribals, it is the informal way by which we control the we control the people. So, till here we have discussed about the agencies of socialization which try to help us in social control process, and the means of social control. Thank you.